Okay, then. Right, so can you see the screen? Can you see the mindfulness and breathing PowerPoint? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Lovely, thank you very much. So we'll get started. So as ever, this is really informal. It's really relaxed. You do you. If you want your camera on or off, whatever suits you. If you want to take a break or step out, we're going to record this and you can access it later, whatever works. But I think there's something, I heard a fantastic definition of adulting the other day, which is basically people over the age of 18 just meeting each other to tell each other how tired they are, and then ask the other one how tired they are, and then that person responds by saying how tired they are too. So if that's something that you're going through at the moment, please be aware that a lot of people are in that experience right now. Make sure that you are treating yourself with kindness and compassion and respect. You're going easy on yourself. And also this idea about just having some tools really to put aside. And the ones that work for you, use. The ones that don't. And as ever, we're not looking for any kind of perfection at all. There's a great noble art of making the best of it, I think was the point I wanted to make here. Just get by. Just do the things that work for you. And don't forget, we're not going to get this time back. This is the one time we've got to have this fantastic January, February, March experience. So there are things in it, there are moments of pleasure in it that we can identify if we just think about them. And it's very easy to get caught up in that narrative of everything is terrible, everything is bleak. It's not. It's a balance, isn't it? And it's about finding your own balance within that. That said, of course, the usual caveat is that mindfulness, breathing and resilience are fantastic things, but that's what they are. They're something that helps you to elevate a situation. They're not something that takes away a really difficult situation. So, if you have practical issues in your life, please do take steps to address them and ask for support and help as you need to. So a little bit of a check-in here. And if anyone's seen the blob tree, I'm not asking you to shout out. Obviously, this is a personal thing for you guys, but just take a little minute and look at the blobs in the tree and see which one of those little figures best represents how you're feeling this week and then at this moment, and have a think about why that is. The reason we use things like this sometimes is if you ask someone how they feel, it can be kind of difficult sometimes to think about what it is you're actually feeling, where it's much easier sometimes to identify something like, oh yeah, that speaks to me, or yeah, I'm number 4 or number 21 or because of this. So there is actually a COVID one of these if you want to use this, but I find it a little bit bleak because it's got a little gravestone in one corner, it's got someone on fire, and that's not really the vibe we're going for today. So if you just Google blob trees, you'll find loads of them. But I hope you've had a chance just to have a little look now and seeing where you are. And the reason we do this is this idea about checking in. So checking in and seeing where you are at this moment in time and how you're feeling and how you're doing it is the first step really in being mindful. So when we're talking about mindfulness, we're talking about two things. We're talking about having an awareness, and when you're out of center, which sounds a bit hippy dippy, but I think we've all had that feeling where we feel sort of scattered and like a bit atomized, not really able to settle, feeling uncomfortable. Ants in your pants, however you want to talk about it, but that feeling of not being secure and settled in yourself. And one of the things that we will look for in terms of mindfulness is this ability to be able to think, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, that's where I am. Oh, that's what I'm feeling. And then we'll look at some methods. So this idea about how you then bring yourself back to the center. So the first thing is about this idea about paying attention, and that's to your mental state, how you're feeling. In your head, what you're thinking about, what your thoughts are. Are they mostly negative? Are they positive? Are they balanced? Are they reasonable, considering what's happening to you? Then the emotions that you are feeling, which are completely separate to your thoughts, often. And then this physical state, because those three things do form a triangle, and how you're feeling affects how you're thinking, and how you're thinking affects how you're holding yourself, how you're holding your body, your physical state, which again starts that churn. So there's something about being aware of changes that happen. So how you are at the start, checking in, how you're feeling during a meditation or breathing experience, and at the end. So we're going to be doing some breathing. We're going to be doing some grounding as well. And we're going to be looking at kind of building attention. So I will be sharing these slides. And on the slides, there's notes pages as well. And so I've put little activities in about kind of core routing, how you might want to think about that, how you might want to stop yourself from feeling scattered. And hope that those things will be useful to you. So again, you get a toolbox, you figure out the ones that work for you and junk the rest. All right, so we're going to go into looking at breathing now. We're going to do some belly breathing. Don't forget, if you've got asthma or a blocked nose, go easy. The last thing we want is the sound of someone keeling over. I know you breathe all the time without me here safely, but I'm just mentioning that just because. And also, if you feel dizzy, just stop or ease, because sometimes when people are doing lots of deep breathing, they can almost hyperventilate, and that's not what we're going for here. What we're going to be doing is using that 3, 4, 5 rhythm. So in for 3, hold for 4, and then out for 5. So get yourself nice and comfortable. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. Okay, so wiggle around, get yourself comfy. And we're going to breathe in for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And out for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do this a couple more times. So in for 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And out for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. In for 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And out for 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And go back to your normal rate of breathing, what's comfortable for you. And if you remember before, when we looked at things that we looked at, you remember we looked at the hold, breathing in and out whilst going up and down our fingers to that center, that get that physicality. We also looked at box breathing. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. And that was a way of just getting that cycle going. And then do you remember when we were looking at sort of calming and slowing down, we were talking about elongating at the end. So it doesn't matter what numbers you use the numbers that fix you. If you find yourself short of breath, breathe in for 2, 3, 5. Whatever works for you, it doesn't matter. But the principle is that you slow down. So you're breathing in for a shorter amount of time than you're breathing out. So however that works for you, go with that. And we're going to look at another couple of things now. You may have come across things like grounding exercises before. And these are really quite useful. So particularly we use them for people who are in maybe anxious or panicky states or feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And it's that idea that you don't just observe feeling uncomfortable or feeling a bit like life's about to tip into too much for you. You actually do something about it as well. And there's something as well about when you're thinking about core rooting, about taking up the space that you sit in. Some people do things like they'll stretch their arms right out to the side. You can stretch with me if you want to, and then stretch back to feel that stretch in your arms. Or another one, which is really useful, particularly if you're working at a desk. This is going to sound weird. Go with me. Is to stretch up right to the top, and then bring your hands down. So I don't know if you can see that, so that they are the tips of your fingers are touching each other, but bring it down behind the back of your head. And that really stretches your back out, particularly if you're prone to sort of curving around. Another thing as well, when we're talking about when we're breathing, is you can put your hands on your belly. And again, some people feel uncomfortable with their bodies, but this is your ship. This is what you sail through life. You've got to love it. This is it. So get with it. So if you want to put your hands on your belly as well when you're breathing, that can often make you feel much more concrete in you're taking up your place in the world. So with this grounding exercise, it's another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise, because that's quite easy to remember, and it's connected to your senses. So we'll do it together. And I just want you to have a quick think and acknowledge 5 things that you can see in the room around you. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't need to be anything like spectacular. I'm not asking you to see the Hanging Gardens of Babylon or anything. Whatever you see, you see. And then think about 4 things that you can touch around you. And if you want to reach out and touch them, go ahead. 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. Okay, and you can use that with yourself, you can use it with other people. It's just a really great way of really appreciating what's surrounding you and the world that you are in. Another technique that some people use is one called sober. So don't worry, I'm not suggesting anybody stop drinking and breathe. But what this is it's this idea of using mindfulness techniques to stop, pause, and take a time out, and then observe, notice what's going on for you. Notice your thoughts, your feelings, sensations. And then the B obviously is for breath. What I really like about this is then it gives you something to do. So that expand, that's something that expands your focus. So talk to a friend, have a hot bath. I mean, for me, I've got my little tea here. I'm trying to cut down still on the coffee. I'm on the, what's my blend here? Peppermint and licorice, but two things I hate in real life, but together in a tea are delicious. And so when I'm drinking that, I try really hard just to focus on the smell, the sensation, the feel of the cup, all those things. And you can turn what in the past, maybe I would have chugged back some coffee whilst talking to somebody else and filling in an email. All of a sudden, I'm back in charge of how fast my life is going past and making sure that when something good is happening, I'm there to see it. I can't think of anything worse than being on autopilot and then looking back and realizing all the stuff you've missed. The next thing is this responding or relaxing. So doing something about appreciating, relaxing, easing the tensions. And I think as well, one of the things that's really key here is you choose your response. It doesn't just happen to you. Your life doesn't happen to you. You make a decision about what's going to be happening next. So again, so that's sober, stop, observe, breath, breathe, expansion, and then respond or relax, whichever you need to do. So mindfulness. There's such a lot of rubbish spoken about mindfulness, I can't even tell you. So the ability to know what's happening in your head at any moment without getting carried away by it is really, I think, the most basic, clean, clear understanding of what it is. You don't need to buy like a special cushion. You don't need to have like special clothes or yoga pants. All you just need is a bit of space to practice. And I think as well, one thing that really makes people anxious is they worry their mind's zipping all over the place. There is this idea that obviously you pay attention, and it can be quite hard to carve time out, and quite hard to put time to experience things. But, we're not looking for you to get to some kind of like blissful otherworldly state. It's this idea about paying attention to the present moment without judging it, without being criticizing yourself all the time. Your mind is going to wander. In fact, it's supposed to. That's what your brain is designed to do. And one of the things that researchers think is so valuable about meditation and mindfulness is this idea that it makes your mind more flexible. So as you see your thoughts wandering, you catch them and you just herd them back. That being able to be aware, being able to then take action, being able to refocus, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about mental agility. And your judgy brain will take over. Am I doing it right? Has everyone else got their eyes shut? So without judgment is really hard. But our minds are wired to get carried away in thought. That's what they do. And we just appreciate that. So we've talked about this finding the moment and accepting yourself, and also the real importance of breathing. The next thing I just wanted to have a quick talk about was this idea about, it doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to have like a special candle lit. If you're doing things sort of deliberately and slowly, putting space between things, almost not ritualizing, because that's it sounds like I'm being a bit too weird there, but this idea about actually doing things in a conscious fashion, that makes a big deal to how you appreciate, I think, your time. And it stops the rush, it stops the blur. And if anyone else has found that, I've found a lot of my life is suddenly blurring into one thing at the moment. Time's got a bit weird, sleep patterns have got a bit weird, and it's something about just actually breaking that day up again. So I've got in your notes pages for you to have a look at some examples of mindfulness exercises for you. Some of the structured ones, so things like body scan meditations are in there, and I've put a sitting meditation in there as well. But you can, it's really important obviously for us to be physically active as well. You can do walking meditations where you actually concentrate. You don't even have to go outside. You can go around a room. And this has been done by religious and faith communities for centuries. And you have like those meditative mazes that people walk around, because it's something that helps your body and your mind get back into an alignment. You can find all kinds of guided meditations and supportive ways of working through this on YouTube, on Spotify. There's tons of stuff on things like the Headspace app, and I'll put resources at the end. And I think for me, I basically will find one that I like the sound of the voice of the person who's speaking. So whatever it is that you like, then pick that. And you can also make Spotify playlists and things like that according to how long you've got, what purpose, if you're trying to relax to go to sleep, or if you're trying to meditate to focus and study, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So that stuff is out there. You just need to curate your own playlist, really. Well, we're not going to go through this particular slide, but it's something for you if you want to just remind yourself. You print it out and stick it up at the side of the wall, or put a screenshot of it on, put it up in your calendar so it pops up. You know, it's very easy to say, I just never have any time. But we have calendars of time, and how we choose to place that time is what matters. So do things that promote you, promote your calmness, to promote your wellness. We have another option here, which is the mindful seeing. So anytime you've ever been busted for looking out of a window and people have been criticizing you for staring off into space, this whole time you've been mindfully seeing without necessarily realizing it. What I would say is, with stuff like this, build it into your day, stick it in your diary. You only need 5 minutes. You can put it on a timer, or you can put on a piece of music you know is relaxing but only about 5 minutes long, and manage it that way. So take almost like a mind break. Some of the things that I've been doing since I've been working from home, when the sun comes out, I'll stop what I'm doing. And that would have been unheard of for me to do that at work. I'll go and sit in the window and look out the window for 5 minutes, because you are not getting paid to suffer. No one is benefiting from it. You know, if you are putting your brain and your body in situations that are more uncomfortable than they have to be, there is no benefit to that for anyone. So make sure that you're looking after yourself the way that you take care of and look after other people. I hope now that we can get into a 5-minute practice, if that's going to be something that your guys are okay with. Yeah, so again, cameras on or off as you choose. It's all good. Get yourself nice and comfy, and we're going to pause, and we're going to go through about 5 minutes practice. So, okay, pause. Take a deep breath. I don't mind to sit or stand as you feel comfortable, but really feel the floor. Feel that connection with the ground underneath you. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Feel free to have a little bit of a wiggle and get comfy. So move about to in that relaxed, comfortable position. What we're hoping for is that your back is upright, not tight, but in a kind of a position that makes you feel comfortable. Your hands resting wherever they naturally fall, and relax your jaw. Stretch your face out. And place your hands on your tummy and take 2 really deep breaths, noticing your stomach rising and falling with each breath. And keep breathing deeply. And we'll carry on, we'll do our breath. We'll do breathing in for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathe out slowly for 5, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep breathing in. 2, 3. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. And out through your mouth, through your mouth for 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you keep breathing in that rhythm, or if it's more comfortable for you to breathe in your own style, go ahead and do that. But as you breathe in and out, those kind of long, slow, deep breaths. Think of how you're bringing in more oxygen, you're enlivening your body. And as you exhale, have that sense of relaxing more deeply. Carry on breathing at your own pace, but notice that feeling of your breath moving in and out. Okay, let's start to bring our attention to our bodies. I'd like you to start by focusing on your toes. You scrunch them up and then release. And now your ankles and calf muscles, a bit of a scrunch up, tense them, and then release. And your knees, tense up and release. And your thigh muscles again, tense them up so your whole leg is tensed and release. Carry on nice, gentle breathing. Remember to let any thoughts that you may have just float up and away from you. And scrunch up your thighs and your bum. And again, relax them. And again, this time, you're up to your tummy muscles as well. And relax. You might notice that you have tension in your back, or you might want to shift position in your legs to stretch them out a bit. That's fine. Make yourself comfortable. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, make sure you're releasing that tension in your back. We're heading towards the shoulders now. So lift them up, right around your ears, and let them release completely. And again, let's scratch them up, move them around, and release them again completely. Let the tension flow out. Okay. Now we're going to think about our neck and our jaw muscles. Let's take a deep breath in and then let go of any tension you're holding in your neck and your jaw. Feel free to stretch them if you want to. Check in with your facial muscles. Are you holding any tension in your jaw? Have you tension in between your eyes? Do you need to stick your tongue out, wiggle it around? So scrunch up your face and then let it relax out again. And carry on. That's nice, slow breathing. Just let yourself relax. This is time for you. Just chill out. And as you sit with these sort of sensations of your body, think about how you're connecting to the floor or the chair. Relax any areas of tension or tightness. It's really natural when we feel uncomfortable to hold that tension. If we're in pain or if we're feeling anxious, to scrunch up. So make sure that you take a big deep breath in, and when you breathe out through your mouth that you're softening. And begin to tune into the breath of your body again, feeling that natural flow of breath. Don't need to do anything to it. Don't do long or short, just keep it nice and natural. And notice where you feel your breath. Do you feel it in your abdomen, your chest, or your throat, or your nostrils? Whereabouts does it really feel for you? And see if you can feel the sensations of that breath, one breath at a time. When you're breathing in and out, can you tell where one breath ends or the next one begins? Now, as you do this, you might notice that your mind starts to wander, or you think about other things. This happens, it's not a problem. As we've said before, it's really natural. If you notice your mind wandering all over the place, just say thinking or wandering in your head softly, and then redirect your attention right back to the breathing. There's no real way to quiet your mind, and that's not the goal here, you might be relieved to hear. What we're trying to do is pay attention to the moment without judgment. So as you're watching your breath go in and out, be aware that your mind will wander. As you practice paying attention to what's going on in your body and in the moment, a lot of thoughts will pop up. And you meander through your to-do list, all sorts of things. Your mind will try and be anywhere but where you are. And that's not something to be cross about or worried about. Absolutely human nature. And it's that magic moment when you get to recognize your mind has wandered. If you can notice your mind wanders about, you can bring it back to the present moment. And the more likely you are to be able to do it again and again. It's that idea of building up that strength. And when your judgy brain is worrying you. We talked about that earlier. Practice thinking about what is it that we're noticing about that. Don't judge yourself about what thoughts you have. Just note them. Make a mental note of them. Some people say thinking, and just let them pass. It's just about returning your attention again and again to the present moment. And that's what mindfulness really is, that process of returning again to the breath. So as you breathe in and out, realize that that's an anchor to your present moment. And every time you return to your breath, you reinforce that ability. So we're going to get ready to finish soon. So check your shoulders, make sure they're relaxed and they're loose still. Bring your attention into your tummy area. If you notice that it's tense or tight, deep breath in, breathe out and let it soften. And notice your hands. Are they tense or tight? If they are, stretch out your fingers in a big star pattern and let them relax back again. What's going on for your arms? Do you need to stretch them? Look at your shoulders. Are they soft? As you breathe, think about your neck and your throat. Let them be relaxed. Soften your jaw. Let your face and your facial muscles be soft. And notice your body as a whole. We're going to take some deep breaths now. In and out through our mouths. In through our noses and out through our mouths. Carry on breathing, and when you're ready, feel free to open your eyes. Bring your attention back to the room and notice the sounds around you. So have a check-in. How are you feeling? You can wave if you want, or put your little clap hands on or something. Just want to make sure everyone's still with me. Okay. So again, it's that idea, like you know how you felt at the start with your blob tree, and you know how you feel sort of now. And that's really been about 8 minutes. So for those 8 minutes, this is the change that's occurred. This is the gift you've given yourself. And it's about, I think, keeping that with you. Another thing that's like, I think could be quite helpful. If you're in a really bright office, when you're deciding to stop your meditation practice, rub your hands together so they're warm, put them over your eyes, and then as you start to open up, it's less of a shock when you're coming back to a bright room, because you can control where you are now, and I presume you're in quite dim places because it's natural light at home. But if you're in those bright offices, it can be quite useful to do that, just so you're not saying like, oh, like an interrogation has happened. Okay, so we're nearly there, guys. One of the things I just wanted to say about taking action to make our lives a little bit better. Are you familiar with the Action for Happiness group? Which sound like the worst fun ever, but you know, bear with it. It's a calendar. What I think is quite useful about this is it's got prompts in it. So this idea about we do a lot for ourselves, and it's really important that we take charge of making our own lives as good as they can be under these very challenging circumstances. But one of the things I think that is really helpful is being able to do stuff for others, even if, I mean, I'm self-isolating, I mean, even if by yourself, this idea about actually doing something to reach out to somebody else, or even listening to somebody properly, that real gift of time, like just stopping and actually properly concentrating on what somebody's saying instead of that wait to speak thing. So maybe even if you just pick a couple of things off here, that will make a difference to how your week goes. So I'll certainly send that around. Obviously all the links work. And there's some, I think, pretty fabulous resources out there. But if you guys find resources, please do send them to Christiana, and we'll just send them around to each other. We'll make sure that people who attend have that option as well. So you'll get the PowerPoint anyway. The recording is up there. We shared around if you want that. Happy to get any feedback, because obviously, you know, this is not my normal job. as everyone who knows me can tell you, I'm one of the last people that you would come to for help under these sorts of circumstances. But I think that's always interesting, that this is the times we find ourselves in. But absolutely, if anyone's got any feedback, they want to stay behind and have a chat, or they want to just email me separately, please, by all means do. It's absolute pleasure to see people. Has anyone got anything they want to say before they head off? Because I appreciate I'm in your lunch hour.
Thanks, Nikki. I was just typing a message, but I just wanted to quickly mention that last year I did, at the beginning of the pandemic, the Science of Happiness course. I think it was 2 weeks for Yale University. It was great. Strongly recommend it. I feel I need to do it again.
Yeah. And also, does everyone know that there's actually mindfulness meditation sessions run by the university every Monday evening? So maybe we could circulate that as well.
Yeah, just at 5:30 with Ruby Carmen, completely free sessions as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm just going to stop recording and then we're going to have a chat.